I know FullBOOST does a lot of drag content, but I think these cars are great as track cars.
Yeah.
So this one, I think we're going to make a bit more circuit orientated. Not high-end car, just something we can have some fun in, Sunday weekend sort of car.
Yeah.
What are we doing today, Luke?
Spreading germs, being sick, sound like dog crap.
Okay, we don't sound too good today because we're both under the weather, but life goes on and the Subarus keep getting built. You mentioned you wanted to paint the engine bay.
Yes, I want to rip this out. We just pulled the box out. I want to get the bay prepped up, painted. It's just going to be a rattle can job. We'll shoot up to Burstons, we'll get some sandpapers, some emery. Whatever
Tesla and Toyota's on the road, it's going to be that colour.
Yeah, we'll get it looking half decent, and then we can start fitting it out with all the stuff. We've got to do brake lines and wiring, but we really got to get the bay painted up first. What do we reckon we need? 3? That'll do us. That's just straight off the can, that'll be fine. Some sandpapers.
Before we can lay some paint down, we need to give the engine bay a clean, as well as the underbody, in preparation for our differential upgrade. So we did decide to paint the engine bay, and
it's a total disaster.
We spent a lot of time prepping the bay, cleaning it up, drying it out, because mind you, it's freezing, it's Melbourne winter. I said we probably shouldn't paint this car tonight, but you were like, let's just do it.
Got to give it a crack.
So we took it outside.
In the dark.
In the dark.
With torches.
It was about 5 degrees.
Yeah,
we're blowing steam. Terrible paint conditions, couldn't be any worse, and it didn't turn out that well.
Not very good. We tried.
I think you said 7 days later, the paint was still sticky. But anyway, you sanded it back in some places, and we're gonna go out there and have a go and do light coats, do a lot of coats, and use our heat gun method and see how it turns out.
We've only got one treacherous condition, which is cold, not dark. We're all right.
And at least it's daytime. I don't think it turned out that bad.
It's pretty good. I'm wrapped. It's better than I thought.
I think you did about 5 or 6 light coats, didn't you?
Yeah, just dusted coats.
About 2 coats in, I'm thinking...
It's still so cold.
Yeah, it is very cold. I think this is going to need probably another week to dry.
But it looks good. I'm happy with it. It's nice and white.
And hey, it's a race car. It's not a show car.
It's good enough.
But the main thing you want to do today is, this is an R200 diff.
Yep.
Now, what does it come standard at WRX?
The WRXs, they've got a R160. The R160, 180, 200 also relates to the crown wheel diameter. So standard WRXs have got an R160, the STIs are an R180, and then a lot of Nissans, they run an R200, like the 90s Nissans, S13s, S14s, I think R32s.
So this is a fairly common upgrade in a lot of cars, isn't it?
Yeah, they're good. They're pretty strong. They're pretty proven.
This is not a direct bolt in though, is it?
No. The Subarus have got that long snout on them, and they've got the weird brace to lock it together from the front of the rail.
One surprise was when you got this diff off the shelf that's been sitting here for a while, it's got a broken stud in the back.
Yeah,
so you need to extract that out and get rid of that.
Someone's had a crack already by the looks of it.
Always fun times removing broken studs, so let's give it a go. Where are we getting started with this diff, Luke? Because the size is quite noticeable.
Yeah, it's huge, isn't it? So this is the R160 out of the WRX, and this is the Nissan R200. So as you can see, the Subaru diff has got a long snout, and the front of the pinion is supported with this big brace, and that's just for clearance around the OEM fuel tank. But we're not running the OEM fuel tank, we're going to run a cell. So we're going to fit this up, we'll cut up the cradle and remount that into the cradle, and then, look, my guess is wherever the front pinion support sort of falls, we're just going to solid mount it into the cradle, and then we'll make up some spaces and essentially solid mount that into the floor, reinforce the floor, and see how it goes. So this is the rear diff mount support. This one's rubber mounted. We're going to do away with the rubber mount, so we're going to remove this bracket, and then we're going to hard mount. We're going to make up a plate. We're going to cut away. I've trialled the diff up. We're going to sort of cut away up through here so it fits in the stub axles. So we'll chop that out, we'll reinforce it, and we're going to solid mount the rear of the housing to this plate, and then figure out how we mount the front. We've just got to get it up in there and fit it in first. So we are going to make our pinion support mount now. Now the Subaru one, as we showed earlier, they've got that funny support cradle that sort of joins the diff together. We're not going to go off that system. Now the Nissan, this R200 diff in the 180s and the 200s and 300s and whatever they got it in, they've got a mount actually off the diff cradle, and the pinion support mounts to the actual original cradle. So as we've grafted the R200 diff into the factory Subaru cradle, it'll be a bit sketchy. If you try to put your pinion support straight back to this cradle, it's just not strong enough. And this car's going to cop a fair pound in. So we're going to run a beam. So what we've got, I've lathed up a couple of solid diff mounts here. So what's going to happen is we're going to bang those in there. They will bolt in. Then we have, I think, some 4mm angle, and that is going to go over from rail to rail to give us some connector, some support. We'll run something like that. I think it's probably 3.5mm, 40mm box tube. That'll be our dropper. So we'll have 2 of those. They will weld onto our bushes, and then we're going to run our same sort of box tube, 40mm, 3.5mm. That'll lock it into the chassis rail, and that'll give the nose of the diff plenty of support. Right, so we've just buzzed back our rail, we've taken off the old paint, the old underbody deadener. Now we're going to weld to this area, but when you weld to that, having the exposed metal on the inside is going to cause rust eventually. So we've just shot down our Bursons and we've grabbed some CRC weld through zinc paint. So we're just going to give that a nice coat on there. That's designed to prevent rust in the future, and you weld over the top of it and it seals everything up. All right, so that's pretty much the finished product there. We've got it all just sitting in place. It's sort of tacked in. We've got to run some crash tubes through these yet. And we're happy with the level, we're happy with the position. So we're just going to go ahead now, clean it all up and weld it in and paint it. And that's our pinion support.
Sick and tired of having no space to work on your car? Is your body saying, I'm too old for this? Don't have the right tools?
Shit, wrong side.
Don't be that guy. Be this guy. Hire a hoist and get access to all the right tools to work on your car. FullBOOST Garage makes life easy. Visit fullboostgarage.com.au.
So we are going to make our dinion